Yeah. And that's one reason that's one way we build our businesses. Like, what's the pain points that we don't like? And then we built everything around that. Like whenever we started the office, I hate anything medical. Like I cannot stand to go to the doctor. I don't like the smell of it. I don't
Amen,
like
brother.
any of the needles. So we built an office that is the anti-dental office. So when you walk in here, it doesn't smell like a dental office.
Are you tired of working more for less profits in your home service business? What if I could show you $100,000 in hidden annual profits in your business in less than 3 minutes? Would you be interested? And not only show you where, but how to create that 100K in 6 months or less without additional advertising or marketing spend guaranteed. Just go to sharpenthespearcoaching.com to see how truly simple it is. That's sharpenthespearcoaching.com. Do it now. And we are back on STS Sharpen the Spear podcast with another incredible guest. Chris Cannon is in the house with us. You know, the remote house, that house that's so popular these days. But anyway, we are going to get into another great conversation. Chris, as we always do on STS, no one knows Chris better than Chris. So Chris, backstory, bring us up to speed, and let's get into what we're going to get into today.
My story starts, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My mom and dad started their own business from scratch in 1973, and I grew up in the family business, which is a furniture retail store. And I watched them scrap and do, what it takes to build a business. And I guess I got the itch, and I built 4 more myself. So it's been an interesting ride. Me and my wife, we started the business I'm standing in right now. She owns a cosmetic and family dental office, and it's doing amazing. We just keep on, whenever we think we're busy, we just add another business to the fires.
It's a great way to do it. That's a great way to do it. You know, when you get it's interesting, Chris, because family business, okay, it can be brutal. Okay. It can be really hard on the family. Okay. But you actually took so they had one store, your folks?
Yeah, we had one store.
And then you duplicated, you went and did 3 more or 4 more?
No. So that's one of our verticals is the furniture business. And then we also have a dental coaching and technology company. And then we also do real estate investing, and we have a cosmetic and family dental office.
All right. So you are irons in the fire.
We are.
I love it.
The hotter, the better.
That takes some courage. Okay.
So,
most people struggle to get one off the ground and keep it going. You know,
lots to juggle in a normal day.
Yeah. So what's that actually like? Are you delegating a lot? Are you creating systems? Are you empowering other people to run stuff? Or are you literally hopping one to the other?
All the above. So yeah. I'm a big systems guy. Everything we run on is systems.
Awesome.
We even do it all the way down to our household. You know, we've got the way that we run stuff, and I'll catch my daughter saying we don't do that way here. And, but we have some awesome people, and we delegate and step in when we need to. And, you know, we lead by example, and we're not too good to do anything in the building. So you will see us answering the phones. You'll see us taking out the trash, just whatever needs to be done during a normal day.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. I think we talk a lot here on systems and process, right? Because it's our freedom from what we call the owner prison, right? It's if you don't have that, if you don't have a system, if you don't have something someone else can follow, you can have no expectations of an outcome. That's what I try to tell people. You don't have anything like, you can't even get mad at anyone because you created this mess. Okay. It's all your fault. They're just doing what they think is right because they've never been told. So sometimes you got to break it down into something that simple, right? Like you got to understand it's my fault.
And we had that conversation the other day. Something happened, and we looked around, and we were like, it's her fault technically, but it's our fault for not being more clear on what we expected out of her. You know, those are expensive lessons, but we all learn them. And it's what you do with the education of that is important.
Education is expensive, and in business, it doesn't get any more expensive.
The tuition of life.
That's right. That's right. So it's really, so you're a systems person. Where did you pick up the whole concept of being systems minded, a systems thinker? When did that kick in? Is that something from your original family in the furniture store? Did you learn it somewhere, or did you work for someone who was really good at that and you liked the way it ran, so you did it? What did that actually look like for you?
A lot of it was, growing up and seeing how things were and knowing that there was a system, an unspoken system, if you would, that everybody kind of knew the groove of things. And then when we started growing at a rapid rate, we figured out we have to duplicate ourselves, and there's no way we can do this one-on-one. So we decided, we have to get all this in stone so that we can live and die by the stone. And whenever we started the office, something we found in the dental business was there's chaos everywhere you go. Nobody knows what's going on. And that was the number one reason that people were leaving their previous dentist, was they're just so unorganized. And that's one thing whenever you come to our offices, is everybody knows what's going on. Everybody's got their lane. They know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, there's a book over there that can teach you how to do it. And well, now it's digital, but it's amazing to me how that some people
do you run on an accurate schedule?
Yeah.
Patients included?
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing.
If they will participate, yes.
Yeah, it's the way to go. Yeah, when they're not late, right? Yeah, it's that's always been the big medical complaint, right? The waiting. I was in the Marine Corps and I had done something to my arm, and I had to take these X-rays to the hospital. Basically, go 3 hours. I'm sitting there, right, waiting for my appointment. Finally, I'm like, I just reached over and I took my X-rays and I left. Then I'm going to get out, and they're like, the doctor's like, didn't you have something wrong with your arm? I'm like, I had actually removed it from the medical thing, and I'm like, no, if it's not in there, I'm good. He's like, okay, but I can't sit there any longer.
Yeah, and that's one reason, that's one way we build our businesses. Like, what's the pain points that we don't like, and then we built everything around that. Like whenever we started the office, I hate anything medical. Like, I cannot stand to go to the doctor. I don't like the smell of it. I don't like
brother.
Any of the needles. So we built an office that is the anti-dental office. So when you walk in here, it doesn't smell like a dental office. It doesn't smell like Cavicide, and we do certain things that are non-traumatic. I'll say that. There's different ways you can do it. You can do it the rough way or the easy way. And we choose to do it the easy way so that people don't mind coming.
You know what's interesting? I remember, I've been around for a while, okay? So back in the day, I got some dental stories, but we had one dentist. I remember my brother coming out and goes, and this is, let's put this in probably the 70s, okay? And he's like, comes and he goes, it was so cool. Like, I had headphones and he put this music on. Okay, you're talking the 70s, right? He's like, you're sitting there, just pick your state, whatever you want to listen to. He's like, that's all he talked about. Nothing that he drilled my cavity, did this, did that. It's like, it was this amazing experience. And that was unusual for the 70s, like in that kind of stuff. It was always. Now, let me give you a flip. So I went to a different dentist at my first cavity at like 13 years old. It's just a fun story. So he goes, well, you got a cavity. I got to drill that out. This is the dentist. I go, okay. I was a big kid, like 6 foot 180 at 13 years old. He goes, you want Novocaine? You want to be a man? That's his. I go, I'll be a man. Okay. And he starts drilling. Man, he hit that nerve and I about ripped the handles off. I am like, an inch deep in the leather on the cherry with my hand. Like, man, that is, and he just drilled that whole thing out, filled it and everything else. Went home like, whoa. And I remember, 25 years later, I'm at another dentist, really good dentist, really, again, I told him that story. He about lost his mind. That guy should never be a dentist. I'm like, okay, well, I was like, that was a long time ago, man. It's okay. But he's like, you never did. Just like, what do I know? I'm just some goof.
And that trauma lives forever. Like, I
brush my teeth a lot. That's all.
Yeah.
I take care of stuff, but it's, it's just, I love it though. I love that you kind of do the anti. You know what I mean? Like, let's not be all that, because differentiation is a huge component to a successful business. Okay. Especially in a crowded field.
Very crowded.
Right? Like you're red ocean.
And
right?
we can walk out the front door here and literally see 10 offices, and they're all not the same, but very similar. And we always talk about in our meetings is how do we burn it down? And something can be going great how do we burn it down and make it better? And that's a hard thing to get through to people is even though you're doing it excellent, there's always one more notch where you can dial that one more, that just a little bit more and make it even better.
It's like that saying, well, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, break it.
Yeah. Or
Break
somebody
it,
will
then-
break it for you.
Yeah, you'll find out. I'd rather be in control of it than having someone else do it and putting me
Definitely.
back. So a really good idea. I just did a workshop this morning. We're talking about something very similar, right? So it's all that, like, why are you different? Because you know what happens when you're not different. You know those other 6, 8, 10 guys outside your office. You know what they're competing on, right?
Price.
Yeah, my man. Okay,
Yep.
that's all they got.
Yep.
You don't have to do that, right?
Nope.
You got an experience. You're competing on experience, right?
And I always look at our churn rate, like our patients that do leave or our customers that do leave. Normally it's because they got transferred for work or unfortunately they passed away.
And
So-
that's a good model.
And that's two things we cannot control. So
Right.
we keep the rest of it to a minimal and do our best.
I have a client who's an audiologist, right? So hearing and all that stuff, multiple location practices, same thing. She's very different, beautiful. It's a whole different experience. It's not what you're getting at the average place. She has just spent the time to make the atmosphere, the service, the experience, everything. And she is a leader in the industry, because of how she does it. You know what I mean? Put all this stuff together. It's really impressive when you're working with people who have that mindset, because it's easy to do what everyone else does. Hey, I need 1,500 square feet. I need this. I need 3 chairs. I need this, whatever it is, right? I'll get all that. Then I'll do some great marketing. Okay. Like you're going to have some mysterious ad that's going to make you a ton of money. And they
Magical
come and they go,
postcard.
you're just like the guy next door. It's like getting on an airplane. They're all the same.
They're all the same.
Okay. Coach is coach wherever you go. There's no difference. All right. So you all got a tray table and chair back and whatever it is. And that's all you get. So again, they compete on price. That's all they do. There's nothing about it unless you're, Virgin or something like that. What's the other one? Emirates.
Emirates.
Like take those. They're about the service. They're about the luxury. They're about the longer trip. But man, why does it matter when you're on this? You know what I mean? Like they know how to pitch it. They know who their client is, right? And you understand that too. How much time did you guys spend? Like you've got the experience. So I'm curious on called ICP, Ideal Client Profile. So did you actually target a specific clientele? Like, so they don't like this, or this, so they'll want to come here. Or is it, well, everyone's got teeth. Let's just make this a great place. Like what was your mindset?
No, so we know we can only see so many people, and we wanted to pick the people that we wanted to see. And we also wanted to be chased and not be the chaser. So we wanted to make an attractive place rather than some place that we had to sell people to come into. But yeah, we had, when we initially started, we had 4 ICPs and we listed out everything that person would want. And most of it was based off our personal experience and knowing the market that we were in. And we just kind of built the practice around that. And if you take care of the people will take care of you. It's
I just want everyone to like maybe rewind and play the last like minute of this, okay? Because like understand what you said. Like we all need to know our ideal client. Here's what you said. I want everyone to remember. So I'll save you the rewind. Okay. We want to serve people that we like, people that we want to serve. You only want to help the people you want to help. Okay. Like I always tell people, it's the same thing. Tell me your best customer. Who is your best customer? You got 1, 2, 3. What? Oh, they always paid on time. They did this. They're really nice. You brought my guys out drinks when they're working in the yard. This stuff that was typical. Oh, okay. What if all your clients were like that? Well, that'd be amazing. Okay, let's do that. Why did those people hire you? What did you do for them? Like, let's repeat that. Let's look for those clients. And you watch everything change when you do that. Like you said, you can only serve so many people, right? Granted, you can scale and grow and make another office or whatever, but in general, every business to a point has a cap, has a ceiling, right? Because then, especially in a professional industry like yours, you have to have dentists. It's not, I hired someone yesterday and I'm training them up today. They've been to school, right? It's a whole different process. So that ability to just open more offices is not an easy thing. growth is expensive.
especially in this business.
Exactly. So the point being, you have to go, okay, what's my ceiling? What's my capacity? Right? I know chiropractors, some do 100 people a week. Some do 1,500 a week. A big gap there, right? But they built a basically an assembly line system to see all these people, and they sell them $5,000 packages. And you come in, you're not going to get the one-time $45 adjustment. You're going to drop 5 G's when you come in. It's like, whoa, But the other guys come, well, I'm only doing 300 people a week, and it's just me and whatever, right? So there's ways to duplicate and do these things. So it's really interesting. I just find it really interesting. Like, there's so many different ways to skin the proverbial cat, right? But I love the niche that you've created, because I think correct me if I'm wrong, there seems to be more contentment. Do you feel more content because you're serving who you want to serve? You're in a place you want to be in.
And, we're here more than we are at home. So why do you want to go somewhere that you hate to go to work? And I think you should make this place like home. And we're inviting people into our home for, an hour and a half of their day and leaving them better than we found them. So.
Yeah. And they're coming for something painful.
Sometimes.
Right? A lot of times, sometimes, not all the time, but you get it. It's like me.
Yeah, I got it.
I always take the Novocaine now, just for the record. But it is that. It's really creating that environment, that workplace, right? So how many people are in that office? Do you have 5? Do you have 3? Do you have...
We run right under a dozen right in that area.
Okay. So again, you got 12 people spending 8-10 hours a day there, right? And I'm sure they have all the same kind of feeling you do, like, this is a cool place to be. If I got to spend 8 or 10 hours somewhere, this is a pretty good place to do it.
And we designed a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense for the dental industry. A lot of our consultants that would come in would be like, that's not how it's done. And we would say, well, why? And they'd say, well, that's just not how it's done. And we would kind of roll our eyes and do whatever we wanted to do type thing. But there's a lot of things that we do that are for the staff here. They're not necessary at all, but those are comforts that we do for them that they can, if they got a break, we've got a lounge with a sofa and chairs in it that they can go take a nap if they want to or whatever. That doesn't happen a lot, but, every now and then you need a little break. So.
Well, I think whether it's a consultant or just someone kind of on the outside looking in, they don't understand employee or team retention. They don't understand how critically important yet difficult that is. We used to always try to put a metric to it, like, okay, when am I getting an ROI when I hire someone? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? When do they kind of pay for themselves? Okay. And you got to kind of figure out that number, and the longer they stay. Okay. So maybe you're getting an ROI in 6 months, but are they going to stay for 2 years? Are they going to stay for 4 years? What's the average stay time with your hiring process and who you bring on the team, what you've created around there? And a lot of it to me is that company culture. It's everything from what's on the walls to how you speak to them, to how the lounge where they can take a nap, they can refresh, do their thing. They got the right breaks. I mean, to me, when someone spends time on that, Chris, obviously you have like you said, you have an uncommon mindset, right? But I love it because I'm the reverse rush hour guy. Okay. Everyone going that way. I'm on the other side of the road. I'm going the other way. I was born a contrarian.
I'm with you. Okay.
Look, the herd's over there. I'll see. I'm going to be in the cave over here. Okay. They're going off the cliff. I'm not going to participate. All right. So that's how I am. But when you take it and apply it to business, like I did that with custom water features. Like everyone's building these little cobblestone, do it in a day, put a box here. And I'm like, that is hideous. Well, I became the number 1 water feature builder in like the world. When Mom done it, looks like it was there before the house. It's that natural, you know what I mean? It's like no plastic, no. I'm like, it's spectacular, right? And because I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. And guess what? I made a ton more money. I got every job unless they couldn't afford me. You know what I mean? I had a massive portfolio because I thought different. I turned them into custom swimming pools, salt water and brick paver bottoms and boulder sides. I'm like, who's doing that? okay, in your backyard. It's like you're swimming in your own quarry. It's unbelievable, you know? So that kind of thing is like what you do. And that's why I love talking to you, because you can find these simple pivots. And really is on your case, I'm going to give you, it's more of a mindset, right? It's how you're thinking about this and what you're trying to deliver that creates the uniqueness and the differentiation that causes you to be successful in, I don't know if this is, I'm going to say, I don't want to say immediately, but it's kind of an immediate thing because you're going to track your exact clientele. They're going to know it. Let me just ask you that from let's go from day one opening to, like, I don't know, topping out or getting to where you're really good. Was that a struggle? Was it kind of was it a slow burn until people go, hey, the word got out, this place is really cool? What did that look like for you?
We started with a gravel floor and we built everything out. So we literally started with, I remember patient one. So, and those were scary days too, because we didn't know where we were going to get the money to pay the rent type thing either. But I've always had the philosophy that the one is the one to the many. So if we get one person in, we'll have the whole family. So the force multiplier of the one person, they bring their 3 other family members, and then that person brings an aunt and uncle. And once we get to that point, it's just explosive growth. And that's how we built the product. And then once people see the product, it just multiplies at that point.
So this is odd. I'm going to say you get the one person. Okay. So I'm thinking like who, you know your ideal client, who are you going to attract? I'm thinking about a family. That's ideal. The whole family. I have 6 kids. You'd like 8 people as your patients, right? That'd be awesome. That's one time, boom, bring me in. But I guess it would be me who would be the first one to come there because I'm that odd bird that's looking for something different, right? I'm comfortable with the uncomfortable. So that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you target it? Because again, 6 kids. I have a set of twins. The only similarity is they're born at the same time.
Right.
Nothing else is similar.
There's like, several of those.
You're gonna appeal completely different to each person, you know. So I'm just thinking like it's so unique how even with that, so the person you grab, the one person, I'm just making this up obviously, but has that mindset to come in, the willingness, right, to take that chance, and now they're the spokesman for your place. They go back and you got to try this place. Now, maybe their family comes because, hey, they trust that person, or who cares? They say it's good. They had a good time. We'll go there too. You know, I don't know. So I'm probably thinking too much on this, but I'm like, what's the dynamic? You know, how do you go from one person to pulling the whole family in? You know,
a lot of it's got to do with the systems. We got a system in place for that. So our scheduling coordinator, she's excellent. And we have a system that we can book as many. A lot of people leave here with more than one appointment for their entire family. So, and we respect a lot of people's time too. It's one of the things, like you were talking about, waiting at the doctor for 4 hours on an x-ray. I cannot stand that. It gives me anxiety. So we try to be on time as much as we can. And like what we were talking about earlier was the uncommon things are very common, like respect people's time. And we're not perfect. Things happen. People come in and need a lot more attention than what we had planned on, but we try to get and stay in as much as we can on time.
And you know, honestly, Chris, like people get that. People give grace. You know, if something's a little behind, whatever, it's that no communication, just sitting there looking at a 3-month-old magazine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just sitting there and no one's the thing, and you're a half hour past your time and no one said a word. You know, no one reaches out when you have a 10:30 appointment. You got someone in the chair. You know it's going to be another hour. You don't give them a quick call. Hey, we're running about 30 minutes behind, so you can just, you know, show up 30 minutes later. And people love you forever. They'll love you if you do that.
With today's technology, you can text them. I mean,
that's it. That's what I'm saying. It's like
it's not hard.
There's no excuse.
The medical system makes it to where, you know, they act like they can't live in the 21st century,
right,
with the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's like that is just there's so much, because here's another thing from a good business practice standpoint. Every touch, every email, every text, every phone call, every, you know, mail, snail mail, all that is a touch and a communication and a front of mind to your customer. So why wouldn't you exploit every avenue possible? Why not reach out and send them a text saying we're going to be 30 minutes behind? I'm telling you, people are like, well, cool. I'll go here and I'll go do this. I can drop by the store over here and pick that up, get that errand out of the way. Then I can get over there. Excellent. And it's the most considerate thing you could ever do. They will love you.
And we try to run everything. How would we want to be treated if it was us in that position? And a lot of times that does not make sense to business wise, but it's the right thing to do. And that's how we do it.
Yeah, that's important. And you know what? And not just because it's the right thing to do, and so it doesn't mean that causes a problem. Okay. What it is, it's not the easy way out.
Correct.
That's all it is. It's the right way. The right way is seldom the easy way. Okay. So doing it that way. And again, I think why you're seeing that longevity of your customer retention is because of those things.
And that's something I learned in the furniture business growing up, is if we take care of this person, they'll tell their family, they'll bring their family. It's the flywheel effect at that point. And, we're seeing people that we see the grandparents all the way down to the newborns. So it's a beautiful thing when it works.
Yeah. We call it lifetime profitable value. That's what it is, man. You got the Walshes, man. The Walshes are in. I got 6 kids. Now they got kids. Now they got, man, if we're all staying in the same area, dude, that's
all of a sudden they go from 8 to 64.
Right. It's like you go to school. Hey, I taught your dad. You going to be that much trouble? You get that kind of connection. Like, man, your dad was a handful. You know what I mean? So guys have been there. So you get that multi-generational thing. And it is really cool.
Very cool.
I mean, it's a sense of family and belonging and safety. Right? They get it. You have a track record. We always get treated this way. It's always a cool place to go. It's easy to recommend. So there's a thing that we build. You're probably familiar with it. It's called raving fans. We don't want just happy customers. We want raving fans. I imagine your place is creating raving fans.
They are. Yeah. It's, right. And that creates its own challenges as well because of capacity.
Right.
So,
but the good news is, when someone mentions the word tooth, that person's head's going to turn. Oh, dude, you got to go. You got to go here.
And I always
you got to go here. I'm telling you, you got to make an appointment. Here's the number. Okay, that's a raving fan. Sold
before they're sold.
That's right. I love it. It's like people say to me, oh, you're getting a water feature. You got to have this guy. I was telling him this morning, Chris. I went to the guy who owned a big salon. He owns these big salons, so hair salon, all that stuff. His name was Teddy. And he's talking to me about water features. And I got this neighbor. He goes, I got this neighbor. He's got an amazing water feature. And 5 minutes, he's raving about their water feature. Okay. So I go, Teddy, you ever see my website? I go, go ahead, pull it up. I give him a thing. And he pulls it up and he's looking. And then he looks up over the computer. He goes, they don't have a nice pond. All 5 minutes of saying how great it is. And then he sees my work. And now he's got something to compare it to. He's like, they don't have a nice pond. So it was just awesome. It's because now you know the difference. Like you said, walk outside, there's 8 other dental offices, none of them like this. Okay, so you think they're all that, no, they're not, we're different. And that's cool. So I love it. I mean, that whole raving fan status, I know it can, it can stress capacity, but dang, that's a good problem to have.
It's a better stress than the other stress.
Yeah. Because we're not out there with this. You don't have a sign spinner saying we do teeth.
No.
So you don't have to do that kind of stuff. So that's awesome. Well, I love it. I think I really like the model because I just want people to take away, again, that kind of contrarian thinking. You put yourself in the customer place. I talk about this a lot with my clients. You're not seeing from the customer's perspective. You're not speaking to the client. Okay, you go to, and I deal with a lot of builders and construction and all that stuff too. And I say, okay, let's go high-end builders, multi-million-dollar homes. Let's go look at everyone in the area. Let's go look at all their websites. You know what they're talking about? Themselves. Oh, we do the highest quality. Well, I hope so. I'm dropping $3 million. Okay, we do this and we do this and we're doing this for 30 years and blah, blah. And I'm like, well, this is all why wouldn't you have done this? This is not, what about me? I'm the guy who's shelling out the $3 million. What's the experience going to be like? What's going to happen to me? What do I hate? You want to know what I hate? Okay. And then you just go online and look at reviews. No one communicates. No one does this. So we flipped it kind of like you, and we created a world-class experience. Everyone's getting the same end product. It's a beautiful home. It's a beautiful kitchen. What's the experience like? From the first call all the way through. Beyond the final check. But people buy an experience. That's why they go on a vacation. They don't go on it because it's a really cool big boat. They're going for the experience, the service and the memories and all that kind of stuff.
And people will go out of their way to avoid a bad experience. So, like we've got customer or patients from, it's Greenville, and, that's 45 minutes to an hour away.
You're in South Carolina?
No, Greenville, Tennessee.
Okay.
I think every state's got a Greenville now. So
yeah, I was just in Greenville, South Carolina.
But, they travel past, I would say, probably 200 offices to get here. And, we appreciate that. But they're doing that because they've been delivered that service. And that's something we talk about all the time is we're here to service. Like we're not here to, at the end of the day, that's all we're doing is servicing. And that's, especially since COVID, a lot of the customer service has been eroded from the world. And they've used that excuse of, well, we can't do that because of COVID or whatever. It's 2025.
Here's a good example. Starbucks. They're begging people to come back in. They remodel. They're making it all like super friendly to be in there. I spent a lot of time in there writing, doing my work on my laptop. And 2020, see ya. Haven't been back. Okay, they pulled that. They wouldn't empty the trash. I'm like, why am I even in here? Closing all the time. You can't come in. I'm like, I'm done with you people. Okay, I put up with the price. It's all good. I just drink black coffee. I just want an Americano, but I'm going to functional mushroom coffee, make it in my French press at home. I'm good to go. That's where I'm at. And it's interesting to watch. Yeah.
And once you make that change, we're creatures of habit. Once you change, it's hard to change back.
One other example. So we're talking about car dealers and stuff. So I bought a car. I bought a Kia Telluride in Madison, Wisconsin, about 45, 50 minutes away from where I'm at. Well, we have a local one in like Janesville, and it's a Kia dealer there. Took it in for a service. They just lied to me. The worst experience ever. Like, hate them. Okay. I need an oil change, and I have paid service, right? I got a whole package for getting that done. I drive to Madison. I drive 50 minutes one way to get my oil because they're amazing there. Man, they get your door, they take you out, they put the stuff in. You get done, they give you a car wash car, just go right next door to Mr. Splash. They'll wash your car, it'll be all done. They update all your stuff, they keep in contact with you. They go, this is how a business is supposed to be done. But that place, they go, yeah, we hear a lot about that. I'm like, even you guys know how bad they are, and they're the same brand, I'm like, but I'm that guy, right? I'm that guy who's willing to drive an hour one direction for a stinking oil change. Okay, only because I don't want to do it in my driveway.
Funny you say that. So I was going to schedule my car to get maintenance for my truck yesterday. I call our local dealer in our town. Horrible experience. Can't get anybody on the phone. So I said, well, I'll just go through the one at the office. So I called them. They're like, Mr. Cannon, we'll actually send a concierge out to your office and do the service in the parking lot. Would you like that? I don't care.
Yes and amen.
Yeah. So they called me this morning. They texted me, and then they called me and said, hey, we got you scheduled for Thursday morning at 8:30. He'll arrive at 8:15. That's my speed. Like that's what we all want. And how do we be that to our customers?
Well, I tell, back to LPV, lifetime profitable value, I use the car dealer. I'm a husband, wife, and 6 kids. That's 8 drivers, and everybody's driving now. Okay, we buy new cars every 3 or 4 years. Okay, well, I got my wife and I, and they're all 60, 70, 80,000. Okay, so there's $160.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got 6 kids who will need cars. Okay, so let's go 20 years. I'm a 7-figure family. Okay, I'm one family worth over, into over $1 million to that dealership in sales. And you're going to send me a yearly email? Really?
With
a discount off an oil change? change. Wow, that's crazy. I don't think I'll shop here again. So I don't.
And all they had to do was just put
Be
customer
kind.
service into it.
Yeah, it's just and I guess they don't care. You know what I mean? They now have every brand and whatever in their. I don't know. I love it for the story. I love it for the example. You know, just like what you're doing, complete polar opposite. You know what I mean? You want to be successful, and it's a lot easier to be successful if you do what you're doing.
It's
really
a lot more fun.
Yeah, you like actually enjoy it. Like my thing always when I'm working with owners and stuff too is like, do your people actually want to come here each day? Are they getting dressed and brushing their teeth and doing their thing and like thinking, I'm going to work. That's cool. All right, man, I'll see you tonight. And like they go to work and they have a good time and they come home and they're not a cranky, you know, sad sack, right? They're like, hey, it was a good day. It was a pretty good day. You know, we had a few tough things we had to do, but overall, man, you know, it's always a good time there. Who doesn't want that? Why are they going to leave?
And
They're not going across the street to those guys, even though they might get offered more money. They're not.
And we run hot here. We run pretty fast, and it's not for everybody. And we tell people that up front, like it's a great place to work, but it's also a challenging place to work. And finding those people that like the challenge, it's a little bit harder. But once you find them, they're going to be with you for a long time.
Yeah, you know what I think, Chris, and I really like that you said this because the problem is people think people don't want to work. They have this mindset, and again, post-COVID and everything, no one wants to work. Everyone got paid to stay home, and yeah, there's some truth to that. But people do want to work because they want to be productive. They want to have some kind of purpose. They don't want to sit around and watch TV all day. Okay, they want to go, and then if they can go somewhere and be challenged in the right way, like that's growth to them. That's like engaging. The time goes by very quickly. They're probably not checking their watches a lot at your place. You know what I mean? Because they're moving, right? And that's, oh man, we got to go home already.
Yeah.
Like the
You look
day,
up
like
at the end of the day.
it's a good thing.
Great thing.
Like you said, you get the right people who thrive in that environment. And yeah, it might take you don't get to just go get someone with a pulse who's going to come in and work, but who wants those people anyways?
Exactly.
Right? When you get them, like you said, you get the retention. People love what they do. They're going to deliver what you need them to deliver to your customers, right? To do everything that we've already talked about, right? So to me, it's really powerful and it's really pretty impressive what you've made. You've created like your own internal ecosystem, right? For people to come in, be a part of this, to get the growth, to get the challenge, have a place they enjoy being at, right? Which causes them to stay. There's a lot of work involved in that, you know, and I'm sure that's always evolving too. It's not set it and forget it, right? You're probably always kind of tweaking.
Every day, turning a dial and seeing what happens. And sometimes it's the right thing, and sometimes it's something we need to change. So
that's okay though, because like I tell people, if you haven't failed a couple of times, you haven't tried. Okay, you gotta get out there. You gotta take a little bit of risk.
Can't score any points on the bench.
That's right. Loser. Well, you got to be on the field. You got to play. And us as entrepreneurs, business owners, I mean, that's what it's about. You know, I think it's a two-part thing because when we begin a business, we launch a business, we have what we call ignorance on fire. We don't really know what we're doing, but man, we're excited to do it. Okay. So we're going. Okay. We're going to make lots of mistakes. We're going to fix it. We're going to get going. But then, okay, wearing a lot of hats after 2 years, like, okay, I got this pretty dialed in. Now I need to create a way that I can start looking at this additional stuff. Like kind of what you started with, most people don't start thinking about till they're a few years in. Do you know what I mean? You kind of, like you said, literally from the gravel. You started ground up and you built this because you had a pretty clear vision in your mind on what you wanted to create, aside from a few little details, but that's normal, right? It's kind of like you want to live in the space. Like I want to kind of build a house, but I don't want it finished. I want to live in it. I want to walk around. I want to see where I really go when I live in this house, right? Then actually we need a bigger window over here. Got to spend some time looking out here, so we're going to change that, right? So it's kind of that living thing. That's what you do with a business. What's the flow really look like? I thought it'd be going this way, but everyone seems to go this way. You know, I always call it the old plant bed. You know, in the parking lot, you think they're going to go around the little, no, they're going to cut right through the bushes and wear out the path, right? So what do? You go out and you put big stones right there so they can step on those. They show you where the path is. You go, you fix it. Now you don't have a bunch of exposed dirt and trampled plants, right? So it's business is like that too, right? But you've already got the vision, so it's just the enhancements just make it better.
And it's hard to go and, change that vision. Like one of our ladies said, she goes, well, it's already going really, really well. Why do we need to change it? I said, because at 120%, it's going to go even better. And it's hard to install that programming into people.
Well, yeah, you're right. I always tell people there's only two directions. There's forward and backwards. There's no static. There's no just staying here. We're in this place. And I get experience can be consistent and everything else. There's certain elements that are, but even that, it's a consistent, great experience. Doesn't mean the greatness can't improve. Right.
And there's always somebody copying you too. So,
well, that was one of my sayings I got from a mentor I love. That goes, I create faster than they can copy. That's the way you got to be. Like, yeah, they copy us too late. We did that 3 years ago. Yep. We're on to the next thing. So that's old news. So yeah, I love it, but it's the mindset that they really need to understand. We're moving forward or moving backwards, or as I like to say, we're dying every day. Every day we're another step closer to death. Okay, so I'm like, we got to get things done. We need to fulfill the vision. What is our vision for this place? What are we going to do? And when we fulfill it, we got to start over. We have to write a new vision. And then we move towards that vision. Everyone's working towards the vision, right? That should be kind of the goal. Get these short-term vision goals, 18, 24 months, and we're all working towards this. So when everyone comes, they know what they're working for, and they're the hero in that journey, inside that office, at that whole facility. Then we get there, and then let's write another one. Let's move to the next level, right? So that makes it kind of exciting. And it kind of joins everyone too, which helps with retention, right? Gives them purpose. They're able to drive forward. And that seems like the things you're doing, right? Because you guys really have a pretty clear vision on what you're trying to achieve here with this whole place, which is awesome. What's next for you?
So what we've been working on here in the last couple of years has been our elite practice development. So taking what we've learned here and multiplying that across the country. And so what we do is we walk in or meet with practice owners and give them a unbiased view of what we see and how we can increase it. And I always call it like turning the rocks over and seeing what's underneath and how much hidden revenue that people's got that they have no clue that that's just sticking in a corner, and they need to do this, and that could save them $50,000 a year.
You are my brother from another mother. There's so much profit in the business that they don't see. It's there. It's not more marketing. It's not more ad spend. It's like all there. And I recover it.
We've got a person in our market right now that's spending, I would say, probably $6,000 to $10,000 a month on getting new patients in. And that's not what's broken. It's an internal brokenness. And there's something in there that's making people leave. And that's what I enjoy, is finding that one or two things. And then you all of a sudden see that, holy crap. Like, if I could have stopped this 5 years ago, I could have retired by now. And unfortunately, we see a lot of people that are having to work way longer than what they should because of the inefficiencies that they just don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. And just because you've seen it that way for 30 years doesn't mean it needs to stay that way.
Well, this is what I have this. So I help business owners recover lost profits they didn't even know were missing, because this hidden money, right? It keeps them stuck. It keeps them unable to grow and scale, stealing their freedom and time. All they want to do is help them take it back, so finally they can move forward, right? That's all we're doing. Like, it's there for you. You built this business. You have all this stuff. You're just not paying attention to the right things.
And
right.
One of my buddies, he says, you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame.
That's right. I love that.
And, we see it in our own lives. Like, somebody needs to tell you got a bad haircut every now and then, and you got a good haircut. But, it's just having that outside person and just being honest with people that you're there for the right reason and you're there to help and serve and just make their life better.
And you said, I call it outside eyes. You got to bring the outside eyes in. And I always joke with people, I go, because most businesses, that's why I wrote my book and I help with it. I go, I saw the patterns, just like you see the patterns. So our little joke is, hey, they're doing all the wrong things. I can fix this really fast. I know exactly what's wrong. You go in but you'll see it in a heartbeat, but they're in it. They're in the mix. So they can't see it, where we can walk in as, whether you want to call us consultants, coaches, whatever you want, we can see it. We know, we get it. And then if you'll just do what we tell you, magical things will happen. I promise.
A little humility.
That's right. That's right.
We can make humongous changes.
You know what? You should do. I just thought of this. We should get a little box, okay, a little hinge box, and we walk in, and on the front it'll have a little tag, and it'll say your ego. And you walk in and open it up and go, first thing I need, can you put it in there? Stick your ego in there. I'm going to shut this, and we're going to leave this over here on the shelf. Now we're going to get to work, okay, because we don't need any of that, because that's what's wrecking your business.
Correct.
Okay, you thinking you know everything, all right, and it's all about you. It ain't all about you. Watch what we're going to do. Now, that's safe over there, and it's probably never going to come out again if we do this right.
Correct.
Okay, now let's get to work.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I just thought of that, Chris, so let's market that. I want to see that box. Send me a picture of that box.
I'll do it.
Tag. Walk out there. Jump. I like it. So, dude, this is awesome. Hey,
we can see how it works.
I'm telling you, I come up with these impromptu things. I'll never think of it again. So
$1 million idea.
I have to go back to this show. Listen, what did I say? Oh, yeah, the box. That's right. I'll listen to this again. Meanwhile, you've got 37 of them at different offices, little eagle things on people's shelves, mark all jeweled up and everything. So I love it. Well, Chris, this has been just awesome. I love your perspective. I love what you've done with that perspective, how you've really put it into play in these different businesses. And most of all, you're out helping others do it too. Because there's nothing worse than like being real successful and keeping it all to yourself. Like, go out and help people. Someone helped you. Someone helped me. Okay. A lot of people wanted to help me. I wouldn't accept the help. Don't be that idiot. Okay. I was that idiot for 20 years. Like, get the help. Get people who have an expertise like you. And if they're out there and they're offering this service, it can change your business like this year.
If you change your business, you can change your life. And get your life back.
Yeah. We call it profit, freedom, and impact. That's what we want to do with our business. We need to make the profit because can't do much without that. That gives you the freedom. That gives you the ability to make impact, and make a difference in other people's lives with their business and everything else. And you're doing that kind of stuff, and I love it, man. This has been fantastic. I got a lot of good takeaways, man. I know other people did too. So any final thoughts? Any final, words of encouragement?
It's not over until it's over.
I like it.
I had a guy this week. I had to tell him that. I said, it's not over until you quit fighting. So, and there's always hope. So
if you can take a breath, you're in the fight.
Amen.
It's just how it is, man. There's no quitters. We don't quit. Failure's okay. Quitting is disgraceful.
I agree.
All right, brother. Well, how can they follow you? You got a website. If they're in Greenville, you're not Greenville. Where are you in Tennessee?
We're in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Johnson City. Okay. Well, they could be right there and need a dentist. Pop in. So how do people connect with you and follow you and all that good stuff?
So you can get us on, we're on Instagram. You can follow me. It's the Chris Cannon, or Elite Practice Development. We're also our website, elitepracticedevelopment.com.
Love it. Love it. I have that in the show notes, all the good stuff. Chris, magnificent, man. I really appreciate you being here
pleasure.
Today. You have brought a ton of value, and that's what we're all about. So everybody else, we'll see you on the next STS podcast. And don't forget, revenue feeds the ego, profit feeds the family. So if you want to see how I can show you at least $100,000 in hidden annual profits in less than 3 minutes, and not only show you where, but how to create that 100K in 6 months or less without additional advertising or marketing spend, guaranteed, just go to sharpenthespiritcoaching.com. See how truly simple it is. That's sharpenthespiritcoaching.com. Do it now.